Good evening, Stephen. It's not a bad night here at Ravenhill, though the temperatures dropped considerably from the last time we were here, which is against Cardiff some 3 weeks ago. Mixed fortunes for both these sides. Ulster started with 3 wins, then have gone through 2 defeats. Treviso, just the opposite, had a number of defeats and then had 2 successive wins. The Treviso side, only 1 change in the forwards. In fact, there's several changes in the forwards. World Cup tight head prop Lorenzo Cittadini's come in, and only 1 change in the back division, which means scrum half Toby Botes returns after missing the first 5 games because of injury. Also made 3 changes up front. Andriy Kiriakou back in the middle of the front row. Tim Barker alongside Dan Toohey in the second row. And Mike McCombs makes his first start of the season in the back row alongside the skipper Chris Henry. And those 3 well-mentioned changes in the back division. Darren Kay back in the centre. Jared Payne, the new man from New Zealand, in at full back. And the vastly experienced Ian Humphreys returns to the number 10 shirt. And there's the referee, the 41-year-old veterinary surgeon from Milan, Stefano Penny, refereeing his 6th league game. So Ian Humphreys, having missed the last 2 games, gets this one underway. Hugely important game for both these sides. Ulster determined to get back to winning ways, particularly at home. And having won away from home a couple of weeks ago for the very first time, that was against Glasgow. Treviso backed that up with a home win against the Scarlets and are looking to win a 3rd successive game for the first time since they joined the league.
A good early opportunity for Ulster in the Treviso 22. Important at the set-piece functions to provide that platform. We saw Ulster at the start of the season beat Harlequins, who are now flying top of the table in the Aviva Premiership, and if they can get the solidity in that set piece and then get the tempo they require to really get their game moving, they're a difficult proposition.
Just a pound a man, the advantage being enjoyed by Ulster at the moment, and already you can see Treviso laying out their stall in the set pieces. Lorenzo Cittadini, the 28-year-old who played in all 4 of Italy's World Cup games, drafted straight back into this side. Another member of the Italian World Cup squad, and Treviso incidentally contributed 10 players to that World Cup squad, is on the bench, the centre Alberto Scarbi.
Touch.
Paul Marshall playing his 6th successive game this season for Ulster. Better Ulster scrummage. Marshall gets it away to Humphreys. Little chip through, that's cleverly done. Somebody may well have been impeded there, but the referee said play on. And that was cleverly done. A nice little bit of variation. Brendan Williams, the 33-year-old Australian, takes it quickly. Ulster's halfbacks covering Humphreys. Oh, good strike by Humphreys. Gathered in by the number 8 Filippucci. Tobias, known as Toby Botes. Little tap by Gilroy from the mark. Looking for a little bit of open space. He finds Christopher Burton.
Stay tuned.
Jared Payne got a dead leg a couple of games ago, missed the last one. Down to Williams, who does like to run, likes to kick as well. Marshall, that's been passed into Humphreys. Cleverly done. Not so cleverly done. Well, he annoyed himself about that.
Yeah, excellent chase from Brendan Williams. This guy is electric. Given time and space, he can shred opposition defences. Ulster will need to kick very well tactically. That little kick, the pass back, read it well. Williams putting huge pressure on, and then he comes back and gets that little ankle tap in potentially there. Ulster now under pressure.
First line out of the evening. Good challenge by Ulster. Jerry Cronin might just have nudged it forward, but the initial knock forward was by a Treviso hand, and Ulster get the put into the scrum.
Scrum is outside.
Ulster will be looking for that experience that's been injected into this back line. Mistake first up by Treviso in the line out. Ulster an opportunity now to clear. The likes of Humphreys, Cave, Jared Payne all coming back in, which should help that decision making by that added maturity and experience they'll bring to the field.
Well, Ulster's lineout has been the one consistent factor all the way through the campaign so far, thanks mainly to some outstanding work all the way through by Dan Toohey in the second row.
Here's the mark.
With the black headgear on is Tim Barker. Playing in his 86th league game this evening, and more than half of those were for Glasgow.
Crouch. Touch. Pose.
He's gone round to the Ulster tight head side to see what's going on. Scrum pops up. Marshall, Spence.
No, it's green now.
Slippery surface. Marshall did well to get it away at the second attempt. Humphreys. It's an awful pass. Jared Payne puts it down. Referee waits for advantage and none comes. And already there's been 2 or 3 little unforced Ulster errors there. Is that a sign of nerves, Ryan?
Experienced enough guys, you wouldn't think it's nerves. It may be a little bit slippery. That one looked as though there was some handling error, and then compounded further, playing behind the advantage line, just trying to get some space. Nothing wrong with the idea, just see it coming out of hand and slipping a bit. Probably a little surface, a lot of rain during the day, and a bit of surface dew probably not helping things.
Well, a great opportunity this, with just about 5 minutes gone for the visitors from Italy. Good solid Treviso scrum. It pops up, picked up at the back by Filippucci. Needs a little bit of help. Good first time Ulster defence. Botes gets it away to Minto. Here they come again, and Ulster's defence has got to be pretty watertight. Botes looking for Burton and finds his outside half. Fullback Ludovico Natolia, well taken by Ulster.
So play advantage.
Slow ball. Ulster have had time to regroup. Lucid Pop, Michele Rizzo, another Italian international, 1 of 8 on this Treviso side. Burton, Gallon, the most experienced man in the park and the oldest, 34 years of age.
Here's the mark.
And Ulster have given away the penalty, and Botes decides to take it quickly.
Here's the mark. Number 8.
The referee said you've got to take it
He's
through the
joining
mark,
from
and
the side of the breakdown area.
shouldn't be too many problems with
Here's the mark.
the conversation.
They're just going through a number of phases. Excellent tackle by Ian Whitten, lifting the man, driving him backwards. Dominant tackle. Unfortunately, Ulster not able to counter-ruck and turn over possession. And once again, it's those penalties within kicking range that have led to Ulster's undoing in previous weeks that they'll need to ensure doesn't become a habit.
Well, the penalty came initially from 2 successive handling errors, and if you cut out those, then you're not in a position to give away kickable penalties like this. Burton makes no mistake whatsoever, so what a good start by Benetton Treviso, looking for a 3rd successive win in this year's campaign after 3 successive losses, and they're leading Ulster by 3 points to nil with not 7 minutes gone.
Ravenhill, a difficult place for visiting teams to come and get the win, but if you can get points early on, it gives that boost of confidence. If you're down on the scoreboard early at tough venues, it makes it very difficult to come back from.
Chris Burton, born in Brisbane. Good restart kick, but well taken in by Benjamin Vermaak, one of a handful of South African born players in this side. Well taken by Vandenberg. Payne, bit of width on him now. Here's Humphreys. That nearly worked. Darren Cave couldn't quite get it away to Ian Whitten, and the referee's playing advantage. Now Morisi gets it wide. Well, enterprising stuff now. Here's Botes into a bit of space, well covered by Paul Marshall, and the referee has brought them back to the initial knock forward, which is going to mean a scrum to Treviso. Why didn't you let it go, I think seems to be the message from the crowd, and I don't think it needs any translation.
I thought he played a pretty long advantage, but that's fine. You don't mind seeing what's developed as long as that's consistent. Darren Cave just getting that offload, and unfortunately for Ulster, Ian Whitten just unable to hold on to that. Treviso try and counter-attack, but eventually it leads to nothing, and the referee quite right to bring that back.
It's a pretty grizzled-looking front row. 2 international props and a very promising hooker in the middle of it. This is Tobias Botes, now 27. Good solid Treviso scrummage. Ulster try to wheel them round if they can, and they've given away the penalty. Popping up, says the referee, and points the finger at Jerry Cronin, the Ulster tight head. Well, Tom Court and of Ireland and John Afoe of New Zealand still very much down under. Paddy McAllister is recovering from a little bit of concussion, is still there. Well kept in by Whitten, cleverly done by the big fellow. Here's Payne, and that's not a bad strike by Jared Payne. It will be a Treviso line-out, but it's much better 35 metres from your line than 5 metres.
Yeah, some excellent work by Ian Whitten on that occasion. Good knowledge of the rules coming from inside the field of play, knocking the ball backwards, and that'll help Ulster with a bit of breathing space defensively.
Taken well by Valerio Bernabo, another Italian international in this Treviso side. That's good protection of the ball. Filippucci has it at the back, trying to put a little bit of acceleration on it, and they've just got across that gain line, and they've laid it back nicely. Botez, Rizzo is loose head prop. A lot of green and white shirts in there very quickly, clearing out. Burton directing operations. Fullback Natalia comes in, and again he's well taken, but all the pressure coming from the Italians. Here's Williams, dangerous little bundle, scragged by Nevin Spence, and again the impetus is with Treviso. Gallon, Botez goes in. Might have seen someone they're not happy with. Botez needs an outside half, may well go for a chip himself, and he does just that. And Jared Payne does the sensible thing, it doesn't make any attempt to play that.
Very impressive start from Treviso. Their set piece has been outstanding. They've bar one error in the line out. Their scrums look very solid. They're making some good decisions. Ball security is excellent in the contact, and tactically they're playing a very astute game, really in control at the minute.
White is on the line. 5.
Well, Ulster pegged right back to within 5 metres of their own line. Jerry Cronin's got his nose slightly bloodied. Andy Kiriakou. Well, that's great stuff between Kiriakou and Dan Tui. And whether it's Kiriakou or occasionally Nigel Brady this season, Tui has taken everything. And Marshall has given that plenty of height, and that's going to drift into touch. And that's a very good set piece, 5 metres from their own line by Ulster. Securing the ball first of all, setting it up for Marshall, giving him plenty of time and plenty of protection to clear.
Yeah, good execution, important now that they turn around, muscle up defensively, get the communication right, but most importantly keep that line speed, keep applying pressure to this Treviso team.
Treviso have cut the men in the line out to 5. But if they dummy that, doesn't matter, it's come back on the Ulster side and snaffled by Dan Tui. Whitten comes thundering round the near side. Marshall again. Well, he's judged that absolutely perfectly. Good chasing by Ulster. Botez covered. Chris Henry got him. Tim Barker comes in to try to at least hold it off the ground or rip it away. Treviso have done well. Ian Whitten encouraged by the referee to get back on side. Burton, that's going to drift. Ooh, that's a nice little kick. What a very good kick by Chris Burton. There is a bit of a breeze blowing towards the War Memorial end here at Ravenhill, and maybe across towards the new stand where we're seated, and I thought that was going to drift into touch, but Ryan, what a great kick by Burton.
His tactical kicking has been excellent. The breeze is really picking up. It's certainly in favour of Treviso, but they're using it tactically very well. Some excellent pressure from Ulster, some clever work by Treviso in the end. Ulster bundling them towards touch, just dropped the ball on the ground and managed to recycle.
Again, a crucial throw for Ulster. Barker with the stretch. Marshall could give it back to Humphreys, who's positioned behind him, but he's more likely to kick. Seemed to be an Italian hand got to that. That's knocked forward. Ulster's ball. Nice little break by Humphreys. If they get quick ball, there could be something on here. Declan Fitzpatrick has to give it and decides to rumble. And he's got across the 22. Now Marshall. That's better. Cave it outside half. Humphreys. That's a good strike by Ulster's outside half. And what a confidence booster that is for the home team and the supporters. Nicely engineered. Taken quickly though by Treviso. They've got it back to Chris Burton. And he has kicked extremely well. Well played by Marshall. Here comes Payne. Nice to see him have a bit of a run, and he does, but not too far. Penalty against Treviso.
Ulster getting some good tempo into the game, making some good decisions. The option was certainly there to run it. Once that was closed out, an excellent kick by Ian Humphreys, and then certainly a hectic pace in the game. Jared Payne worryingly for Ulster, limping out of that contact situation. Here we see the replay of that kick. Outstanding, well-judged kick. Good awareness by Treviso that Ulster weren't able to get a chasing line up and try and take that quick kick.
Well, you can see the strength of the wind there. Ian Humphreys didn't make as much distance as he probably would have liked, but he's found his touch. But Jared Payne is down injured now. He suffered a dead leg a couple of weeks ago in Wales in the game against the Ospreys, and the young fans who've come to see Ulster's latest signing and high-profile signing are looking on anxiously. Adam Darcy is on the bench, and Adam Darcy has been summoned straight off the bench, and this doesn't look terribly good for Jared Payne at all. So not a great start in terms of injury to his tenure here at Ravenhill, and he's getting up. We'll have to make a decision. Is he going to continue? And the answer is he's not going to continue. And that looks like an ankle.
It's very unfortunate stuff. The fact that Adam Darcy was stripped down on the touchline, ready to come on straight away, leads you to think the physio saw something in the initial assessment. It's not a good one for either Jared Payne or Ulster.
Well, he's started 2 games, he's only finished 1, and he's not going to finish this one. And Brian McLaughlin and the Ulster management team in that little box of theirs will be very anxious. Adam Darcy on the field. Dan Toohey wins the line out. The old order restored. That was very nearly an interception. That was knocked forward. Down goes Craig Gilroy. It's a very loose game, which is not suiting Ulster at all. Tavanello, the skipper, nails Ian Humphreys.
No advantage.
And Ulster get the scrum back initially where there was a knock forward. And losing someone at this stage of the game round, particularly to injury, can be a little bit unsettling, can't it?
Yeah, certainly they would have trained all week with that combination. Fortunately, they've got someone with the experience of Adam Darcy, who played a full season last season. He'll slot in there seamlessly, but obviously desperately disappointing for Jared Payne.
Well, he looks pretty distraught, Jared Payne. That's all. It's not too serious. May just have turned the ankle, and he's got a couple of weeks, remember, or 3 weeks before Ulster's next game, and no doubt the Ulster medical team will be working on that. Great pressure on the Ulster scrum. Marshall, not the greatest pass in the world. Ulster will have to be quick here. That could go anywhere. It's gone into the hands of Morisi. And Treviso swarming all over Ulster, who are very fortunate to get the penalty. And there's a Treviso player down, and I have a feeling it might be Chris Burton. Well, Ulster really at 6s and 7s there.
It turns into a lottery when the ball's bouncing on the ground. Treviso players pouring through, and they've certainly looked the more composed of the two teams in this opening 16 minutes.
Well, Chris Burton is down injured, and that would be a huge loss for Treviso if their 31-year-old playmaker, who's appeared in every single game so far this season, 9 times capped for Italy, his adopted country. And the man who made that initial break there, Luca Morisi, the youngest member of the Treviso team at only 20, 14 years younger than his centre partner Ezio Gallon, is getting a bit of treatment as well.
Yeah, difficult to see the extent of the wind up here, but you suspect, given the game plan Treviso have adopted, that it's a lot stronger down there on the field. They've played very well in the conditions, kicked well tactically, established field position. They'll probably feel for all their dominance of territory and possession, they maybe haven't got that demonstrated on the scoreboard.
Well, Nevin Spence went down, and there's a bit of a bang on the head there, accidental I think, on Chris Burton. Luca Morisi is going to go off to get some running repairs. There's a little bit of blood there. I don't think it's too serious, so they'll give him a bit of a lash up. And they are, I think, going to bring on the vastly experienced Alberto Scarbi, who's been capped 14 times for Italy. Only played in one of Italy's World Cup games, and that was against Russia. In the meantime, Ian Humphreys finds a pretty decent touch. Well, it's been a pretty stuttering Ulster performance so far. Ball has gone loose. Nudged forward by Treviso, according to the referee, and Ulster will get the scrum. Well, Mike McComish getting himself involved and being stripped of his head protector. Came on as a replacement against Cardiff. This is first start for Ulster. An Ulsterman, of course, by birth, former pupil of Campbell College in Belfast. Played as an outside half in the Schools Cup final way back in 2009 when he was only in fifth form.
Touch! Ball!
Played as an outside half. Good squeeze in the Ulster front row and all sorts of trouble. Now that's a bit difficult. I mean, Andy Kyriaku's incandescent with rage, because why would you want to pop the ball up on your own foot in? And I think Senor Penny has got that one wrong.
It's obviously going to be an area of concern now for Ulster. A couple of penalties emanating from that facet of play, and I'm sure they'll address the referee at some point and find out just what is going wrong with the mechanics.
Well, there's the ball popped in, and let's see who pops up. Well, for my money, it's the Treviso hookers just simply popped Andy Kyriakou out of the scrum, but the referee has thought otherwise. Why would Ulster, on their own put in, want to stand up and give away a silly penalty?
It looks like both front rows coming up at the same time, and therefore it's just a scrum reset would be the expected outcome.
Chris Burton, who's recovered from that little knock on the head a couple of minutes ago with a long-range effort. Oh, he's got right underneath that, and he's just pushed it wide. So yet again, Ulster scrum coming under some pretty fierce pressure. Minutes gone, 3-0 to Treviso. Could well have been more. It's not a bad restart kick by Humphreys. Spence knocked it backward, taken in by the enormous Vandenberg. Nobody really close enough to him. Humphreys, good call. Spence. Pavanello takes him down. Marshall. Chris Henry got absolutely clattered by Benjamin Fermac. Is Kyriakou. Gilroy, well taken by Spence. Here's Witten. Good covering tackle, and the ball has gone loose to Williams, and they don't want to give him any room. And that's just an example of how sharp Brendan Williams is. Seized that opportunity and very nearly got away.
Yeah, he is lightning. A little overlap there. Spence doing well handling wise, and then Ian Witten realising he was heading into touch, keeping the ball alive. The little predator onto it, but Michael McComish, who would have played a lot of sevens, which Williams is an excellent exponent at, just managing to grab hold of him and halt his progress.
Little ankle tap by Mike McComish.
I don't know.
Step in the face, please.
I don't know what happened, okay? I don't know who has started and what has been the problem. I've seen you were pulling each other, and even the assistant. Calm down, both of you.
But not step in the face.
Okay.
Seems to be a little problem between Antonio Pavanello, the Treviso skipper, and Ulster's Dan Toohey. In the meantime, it's an Ulster lineup. Well, as I say, the Knights are fair drawing in. Isn't that a wonderful sight? Not sure why you would want to go there, though. Scrum to Treviso. Michael McComas has got himself another piece of protective headgear, which is the reason for the delay. Free kick against Ulster
Early engage
for
wide.
an early hit.
Early.
Just trying to get that all-important advantage, and it's not working out for Ulster in this set piece, is it? And Treviso very confident. There's no point in kicking into touch from the free kick because that gives the opposition the throw. So the referee has moved them in about 5 metres, and a lot of rain this week has softened the playing surface here at Ravenhill. So it's not very often you see the referee taking them in because of that cut-up pitch.
Crouch. Touch. Pose.
Toby Botez playing his first game of the season, got injured in one of Treviso's pre-season friendlies, gets it away now to his full-back, Natalia. Good bit of running by the Italian international, and played most of his international games in the wing, hence the speed. Taken on by Valerio Bernabeu. This is a good piece of play by Treviso, backs and forwards working well. Fermac, big open side flanker. Botez again, now Burton. Back inside to Ezio Gallon. Still they set it up, Filippucci. Keeping it very tight, maybe looking for a penalty. Here's Burton. Decides to kick. What a clever kick that is. What a clever kick, and very difficult. Adam Darcy and Ian Whitten in two minds, and they left it, so Ulster will get the throw into the line out. But that's the second excellent kick. In fact, that's the better of the two by Chris Burton. What a belter. Pinpoint accuracy. Watch this.
He has been outstanding. Look at the trajectory on that. Spotted the small space, and it's absolute perfect kick. He's been outstanding. Really dictated the play for Treviso. They've had the lion's share of possession. He's ensuring it's used well.
Well, a clever long throw by Ulster, finding Pedri Vandenberg. And Treviso giving away the penalty. Ulster will be relieved.
6 green.
And Ulster will certainly be encouraged by the scoreboard. They've had very little possession to play with. They've had to go through huge amounts of defensive work, and certainly given the volume of possession and territory Treviso have enjoyed, Ulster will take some small solace in the fact that they're only 3 points down.
Well, Ulster will have to find an awful lot by half-time, and then in the second half. Pretty decent evening for Rugby. Pitch a little bit softish, but an otherwise good nick, and Ulster playing into a stiffish breeze. That's not a good throw at all by Ulster. Filippucci may just have nudged that forward, but the referees said play on. Botez. When Ulster have thrown it long, it hasn't gone to the target. Botez looking for a runner, gets it in the shape of the 18-stone prod Rizzo. Again, it's quick ball by the Italians. Alberto Scadri, fresh from the World Cup. Botez having a glance, seeing what's available on the narrow side. Filippucci breaks one tackle, gets across the 22 of Ulster. Botez, Burton will kick. Thought about it. Nabbed by Chris Henry, Ulster's captain. Well released by the men in green and white. A lot of possession. They still have to make a clean line break. Natalia's doing his best, popped up on the far wing. And that's excellent Ulster defence.
Yeah, it has been, and it's had to have been as well. Treviso playing a very direct style, not overly creative, but certainly very effective, going through a number of phases. A lot of one-off runners, and then when they run out of options, Burton has been kicking very well. Just unable to get that scoreboard ticking over, and maybe lacking a little bit of creativity, but certainly executing their limited game plan very well.
Ulster's line out on their own 22. Kiriakou. Tim Barker with the clean take. Marshall standing inside his 22, but the ball will be delivered from outside it, so he can't kick it directly into touch. That's a very good kick by Marshall. Where's that gone? Has it gone forward from an Ulster hand? Referee saying play on. Treviso won this. Botez has a glance. Here's Burton. Just trying to keep the lid in Ulster. Vandenberg covering. Ulster would like that to bounce and bounce and bounce, but it's going to be touched on for a 22. Just about 15 minutes, a bit less to go to the interval, and if Ulster can hang on and regroup and have a chat and sort out their problems, who knows? Long kick by Humphreys. Well chased by Nevin. Spence allowed the catcher to take the ball and make contact with the ground. But Benetton have got men in support, and again they've produced another good piece of possession. Botez, Burton. Here's Williams. Natalia. Darren Cave with the tackle. Gets himself out of the way. Play on, says the referee. Great snaffle by Vandenberg. Here's Whitten. Encouraging now by Ulster. Marshall, Humphreys. Declan Fitzpatrick. Sets it up again. Now Marshall, Humphreys. This is out Henry. Spence rode the tackle well. Such a strong young fellow. Better by Ulster. Humphreys. Again, Tui playing out of his socks this season. Barker. Marshall. Humphreys back inside to Chris Henry. Just about flat and no more. Here's Marshall. Now Humphreys. Vandenberg. Such a tower of strength. Humphreys again. Mike McComish. Well set up by Ulster. A little bit more width in this one. And Gilroy drops it. Just maybe took his eye off it. Wasn't a great pass, but Ulster at least have recovered. And they've recovered possession. And they've given away a penalty for coming into the side.
Ulster going through a huge number of phases would have welcomed the opportunity to play with some ball in hand, but once again excellent defence by Treviso, denying Ulster really any advantage line ball, and the penalty resulting from some good counter-rucking from Treviso.
Six.
Bit of a stoppage for an injury to Ian Whitten, it seems. Stefano Penny speaking to his fellow countrymen. There's any bias implied there. Just having a little word with them about their own discipline, I think.
Yes, the mark. Not releasing the ball.
You look at the Italian teams now and their development from last season. Almost feels like they've shrugged off that inferiority complex. They're feeling more comfortable playing at this level, and we're certainly seeing a positive development in their recruitment and most crucially their performances so far this season.
Well, that is another incredible kick by Chris Burton, and because it was a full penalty, Treviso have the line out 5 metres from the Ulster line. Well, this is as good as anything we've seen from Ian Humphreys in recent seasons at Ravenhill. Well, they've got the position, they've got the possession. Can they get the points from here? They've done the first bit, taken it the back by Vermaak, and here goes the thundering drive by the Treviso tight forwards. Skipper Pavanello takes it on. And again, when they come within striking distance of the Ulster line, Treviso's own indiscipline has cost them a penalty.
Yeah, Ulster did very well to defuse that rolling maul. It looked like they'd set a very good platform and it was marching towards the line, and fortunately from Ulster's perspective they managed to halt that, and then the resultant penalty. The little shift from the top of the line out, they got around the corner. Michael McComish, it looks, pulls one down at the start, and then Ulster muscle up defensively and eventually cause the turnover. Pedro Vandenberg competing for the ball on the ground, and penalty going to Ulster.
I think it might have been the skipper, Antonio Pavanello. Kiriakou. Well, Tui takes it. When they go past 4 in the line out, it's not all that satisfactory for Ulster this season, but Dan Tui has secured it. Humphreys. He's given that plenty of height, hasn't he? Spence knocks it backward. Ulster need to win this. Well taken by Whitten. Good angle by the big fellow, and not a bad kick either. Plenty of space on that far side. Gilroy comes thundering up. Across goes Tommaso Iannone. Doesn't find his touch. Well taken by Humphreys. Looked outside him, now gives it to Adam Darcy. Change of direction. Ulster need quick ball here. That's better. Humphreys going to keep the lid on it, but Burton is beautifully positioned and replies, is it with interest? It will be if it bounces into touch. Well kept infield by Humphreys. Low and awkward. Natalia. Williams. Oh, they've left him far too much room, and he's bamboozled the Ulster defence. This could be an outstanding try. Great covering by Darren Cave. Williams was in for one of the tries of the season at Ravenhill. Treviso may still score from here, but you'd have bet that Williams would have got in. Here they come again, the tight forwards. Well, this is desperate Ulster defence as half-time approaches. And that really should have been a Treviso try. And what a cover tackle it was by Darren Cave. More on that in a moment. Treviso got the put into the scrum, but that was a 7-pointer for the Italian visitors.
Excellent cover defence from Ulster. The original line breach. Watch what Williams does. He takes that soft 45-degree angle, sizing up the mismatch, and then it's off the foot through a second row and a prop, and then this man is electric given space off either foot, and some desperate defence by Darren Cave coming back, and then another excellent piece of defence to deny what was a three-man overlap for Treviso. Initially couldn't get Burrow through. Good work by Ulster around the fringes. Darren Cave, some sensational cover defence there.
Well, 3 tries this season for Darren Cave. Missed the last 2 games. Got a couple against Cardiff, and scoring the first, he just did a little tiny hamstring pull, not a major tear, but enough to keep him out of the last 2 games. But Brian McLaughlin will be very grateful to the efforts of his Irish international centre for that cover tackle. And this was so close. Lorenzo Cittadini very nearly across that Ulster line, the big tight head prop, nearly 20 stones of him.
And a crucial score gone awry there for Treviso. If they had have got that 5, takes it to 8, maybe 2 more, 10-0 potentially.
Okay. No try. Scrum 5, Treviso ball.
Television match official, Marshall Kilgore, I think has confirmed it was a Treviso put into the scrummage. Will Treviso try to outmuscle here, outmuscle Ulster here, this particular set piece. Well done, Darren Cave. That was a lung-bursting covering tackle he made. Most important scrum of the evening. Declan Fitzpatrick under all sorts of pressure there from the vastly experienced Italian international, struggling just to maintain his bind and his feet position, Fitzpatrick.
Now, I can't see the Treviso scrum wanting to release this ball. They're going to try and grind this out relentlessly. Crucial point in the game for Ulster. If they can deny Treviso any further points in this half, they'll certainly be encouraged coming out the second half with that defensive display and the wind at their back.
Toby Botes just has a little glance to see where his half-back partner, Chris Burton, has positioned himself. Ulster digging in and hanging on, and they've whipped it round, and the referee has penalised Ulster. Not binding properly, he says, and I'm pretty sure Treviso will go for another scrum round rather than kick for goal.
Yeah, I think they've declared their intention here. They're going to try and get a psychological advantage here by trying for that pushover scrum or penalty try. Tough times now for Ulster.
Well, once again, the importance of a solid set piece has been emphasised. Treviso have worked so well off it, and Ulster are struggling in this respect. Fitzpatrick not able to get that first bind, and therefore he's been pulled inward and downward. Referee is having another look. Is he going to go for the post? He's given another penalty, and I think if it happens again, it's going to be a penalty try. But to be fair, at that scrum, certainly Treviso did not look as if they were going to push Ulster across the line.
If he doesn't bind, I have no many options to use. Okay, speak to him.
Well, the referee has told Chris Henry that he's not happy with the Ulster scrummaging, and he's told the Ulster skipper to go and have a word with his fellow forwards.
Okay, I'll stay this side.
Declan Fitzpatrick, I think, is saying that he's not been allowed a chance to bind on his opposite number's jersey.
On another night, that scrum goes round the 360 and Ulster get the penalty, but certainly, you know, Treviso now feel they have dominance in this area and they're trying to pursue that for points on the board.
2 scrums, 2 penalties. Is it going to be third time lucky for Treviso? It'll have to be fourth time.
You stay here. Okay?
That was just a genuine collapse.
Chris.
You can see that ground digging up underfoot, difficult conditions for the front rows, and they'll move it across, you feel.
Warning is forward.
Well, the clock is ticking away, but I don't think Ulster can sustain this pressure for over 6 minutes. Something has got to give.
You can't spend this amount of time in your own 22 and not concede points. It's their excellent defensive efforts that have kept them in the game up to this point, and just require another 5 or 6 minutes of concentration.
Touch. Pose.
Quicker ball. It collapses once again on the Ulster loose head side, on the Treviso front row stand up, and the referee says there's nothing deliberate there. I think Ulster will disagree with that. Jerry Cronin and Declan Fitzpatrick are giving a bit of a mincing. It's better work by Fitzpatrick, and he turned himself inward and went down on one knee, and maybe lucky not to get away with being penalised yet again. Antonio Pavanello, the younger of the Italian international Pavanello brothers, having a word with his pack once again. And another minute has elapsed, so just over 5 minutes then for Ulster to withstand this Treviso pressure.
Touch. Pose.
Well, Fitzpatrick is not getting bound at all. And again it's a penalty. Boltes tries to take it quickly. And surely the referee, is he going to the pocket? I think he is going to the pocket, and I think Declan Fitzpatrick is going to be binned.
You've been told he has to bind.
Well, that's very unfortunate for Declan Fitzpatrick. He's going to be binned. They'll have to bring on a prop, and the 2 boys they have on the bench are 19 and 20 years of age. So Declan Fitzpatrick getting binned for not binding properly.
Yeah, Declan Fitzpatrick, you can hear him there talking to the referee about the angle at which Treviso are coming in at the engagement, and then following the engagement, and that body angle making it difficult to get the bind.
So what will Ulster do? Adam Macklin has come on as a replacement, but he's normally a tight head prop, as indeed is Declan Fitzpatrick. And will they move Jerry Cronin to the unaccustomed position of loose head prop? 4 minutes to half time. You may well have heard Marshall Kilgore, the TMO, say. So big decision time. It looks like Adam Macklin is going to come on. I don't think he's ever played loose head prop, and I'm not sure that Jerry Cronin has played loose head prop either. So 2 very inexperienced. This time last year, Jerry Cronin was playing club rugby for Ballynahinch, and Adam Macklin was recovering from a broken leg.
Yeah, big ask, but what Ulster will probably need to do is drop a wing. You wouldn't want to be dropping off the traditional loose forward that you generally do at this time. Given the pressure that's on at scrum time, you wouldn't want to sacrifice one of that 8.
Well, the clock has stayed stopped, so there's no point in Adam Macklin delaying his arrival. And decision time, as Ryan quite rightly said, who will Ulster ask to leave the field? Because when a replacement comes on because of a sin binning, somebody else has to go. Well, I can't for the life of me understand what the delay is.
It looks like Michael McComish coming off to allow the prop substitution, and probably Ian Whitten may attach onto the side of the scrum.
So Mike McComish goes off, and Nigel Brady is coming on now. That's very interesting. Nigel Brady is coming on now. I don't know that Nigel Brady has played a lot of competitive rugby since his days at prop forward, since his days at Dungannon Royal School, when he was an Irish international schoolboy prop. But he's short and he's squat, and he certainly won't take any nonsense. But how he's going to stand up to the 19 stones of Lorenzo Cittadini, we are about to find out. What a fascinating little cameo this is.
Touch. Pose. Engage.
Well, Brady suffering from the same problem as Fitzpatrick, not getting the bind. Ulster stand up, and the referee's awarded the penalty try. it was almost inevitable. The crowd think that the cause of the front rows coming up is down to Treviso, but the Italian referee has decided otherwise. It goes in, and then it does come up, and I think it's the hooker from Treviso's doing that.
Well, he certainly looked like the first up. The Ulster heads were below theirs, and the first person to pop out was Treviso, but I think it's more just an accumulation of penalties in that area of the pitch that the referees lost patience and just gone against Ulster.
Well, Chris Burton will inevitably add the extra points, and Ulster couldn't do what we all hoped they might be able to do, and that's hold on to a 3-point deficit until the interval. There's about 2.5 minutes to go, and this was the crucial scrum. Now, they were going forward. Well, the first head to pop up was the Italian, and the referee's got that completely wrong. Yes, Ulster under pressure. Yes, a Treviso score might have been inevitable, but I think he got that one wrong. Taken in by Fermac, the open side flanker for Treviso.
No hands, eh? No hands, mate.
Botes outside is 22. Knocked forward by Treviso. Stray foot came through. Well away by Brady. Darcy. Humphreys.
Advantage is over.
Not a bad strike by Humphreys. Advantage from the Treviso knock-on, long over, and 1.5 minutes to go, and it's going to be a Treviso line-out.
Important that Ulster channel that frustration at the perceived injustice at the scrum time to focus their minds. They've played a full half with almost zero possession, and important that they start to get their hands on the ball, try and impose some of their patterns, just get some time with ball in hand.
Well, taken in by Bernabo. Filippucci at the back just controlling things. Good driving maul by this rugged Treviso forward pack. Good work by Kyriakou as well. Penalty for deliberate obstruction. Thought for a moment that the Treviso side were going to bring on a replacement, because the Fijian-born Italian international Manoa Vasawai seemed to be getting ready to come on. Right decision to elect to go for the post from Ulster.
Well, Ian Humphreys just threw a little bit of grass up in the air and looked across and gave the nod, so certainly you'll feel as though he has the distance, and at 10-0 I'm sure Ulster would welcome some points on the scoreboard. Not enough time really to let anything else develop, looking at the clock as well, so an opportunity to grab 3 points going into half-time.
Well, Ulster will have to survive the first 6 minutes of the second half with 14 men, and hope that there aren't too many scrummages in that period. So time is up. Whatever happens, this is going to be the last act of the first half, and a bit of a flop from Ian Humphreys. So that's the end of the first half. The Ulster forwards under severe pressure all the way through at the scrummage. Some interesting interpretations by referee Stefano Penny, but certainly in terms of possession and territory, you can't deny that Treviso deserved to be in the lead. As it is, the half-time score at a rather wintry Ravenhill is Ulster 0 and Benetton Treviso 10. So Paddy Jackson on, it seems, for Ian Whitten, and Chris Burton, who's got a conversion and a penalty, gets the second half underway. Chris Henry waits. Well tackled by Ludovico Natolia, the Treviso fullback. Marshall. And again, not the most wonderful contact by Ian Humphreys, but he does find a pretty decent touch. But it is going to be, and you can see his reaction to that, a Treviso throw.
And Ulster under pressure from the start, back in their own territory. You feel they'll change their tactics, play a more controlled, set-piece oriented game. They're going to use this win to kick for territory, and then it's just a matter of doing what Treviso did in the first half, being clinical in the execution of a very direct game plan.
Clever little switch, throwing the ball to the middle of the line out. It was interesting that their number 8 Marco Filippucci had gone into the scrum half position. Here come Ulster. Williams knocks it forward. Ulster couldn't quite control, and no advantage come. Yes, there is. No, there's not. Tim Barker's divested himself of the headgear. A shaven head makes him more recognisable. That was a very good kick, and Williams had a wee glance, and he could feel the hot breath of Chris Henry on his forehead. And this is what Ulster probably didn't want, actually, the scrum.
Yeah, well, the difficult thing now is with the number of changes in the back line, all of a sudden you diminish the opportunity to play these strike moves, which a lot revolve complicated second man plays, and with Paddy Jackson standing on the wing, it just disrupts Ulster's ability to strike from set piece.
Toby Botez, a little injury worry there. So the first scrum of the second half, and remember Ulster down to 7 forwards. Nevin Spence has gone to open side flanker.
Crouch.
I think what Ulster want to do is get the scrum down and set and get the ball in and get it away quickly. Marshall has to get it in as soon as they make contact, and the Ulster scrum getting demolished again.
Stand up.
And the referee has decided that the scrum has stood up, but he's going to allow the foot in again.
A definite channel 1 ball that he looked for here. Marshall straight under the foot, a very quick strike, and back to the number 8's feet, and Chris Henry to pick and go from there.
Again, it's all about speed. You can't rush the engagement, but as soon as the heads and shoulders touch, Marshall must get this in. Bit better by Ulster. Humphreys had to stretch back. Cave.
Hey, stop!
Ulster going for territory and finding territory. You can see Lewis Stevenson warming up on the far side of the field for Ulster, interestingly.
That breeze really looking as though it's picking up and in Ulster's favour. Just some composure needed now. It's only a 10-point margin. Excellent indications from that initial set piece. The correct decision made to kick deep into Treviso territory, pressure the line out.
Well, taken by the flank of Vermark. They came up from the back of the line. I'll jump it to good variation by the men in green and white. Ulster must be careful they don't drag that driving maul down. Back to Botez. Holding up in the wind. Good take by Craig Gilroy. Look how strong he is. Marshall. Humphreys. Needed to put a wee bit more on that. Here's Williams, the danger man. Natalia, who can run a little bit. He's very quick. Covering tackle by Paddy Jackson. There's nobody in the left wing. And Williams elected to kick, and he did have an overlap there, Brian.
Yeah, and certainly not his natural instinct to kick the ball away unless it's kicking with the opportunity to regain possession. But Treviso, certainly no need for them to panic. They can afford to be a little bit more relaxed, take the percentage options. 10-point margin they enjoy at the minute. Some excellent work by Craig Gilroy, keeping his feet long enough to be able to retain possession and get players in behind him.
Short and Ulster line out. Well done by Barker. Just about vertical by Paul Marshall. Is that not forward by Ulster? Referee says it was.
There's no advantage. There's no con. White. Scrum green.
Little glimpse there of the rear view of Chris Henry, who's captain Ulster in every game so far this season. Did it for a fair chunk 2 seasons ago. Last year the honours went to either Johan Muller or Rory Best. And needless to say, everyone at Ravenhill will be wishing Rory and Stephen Ferris and Tom Court and Andrew Trimble, and indeed all the Irish contingent, the very best of luck tomorrow morning in the World Cup quarter final against the Welsh. Alarm clocks have already been set, sandwiches made, champagne on ice. Maybe we'll wait for that.
It's a difficult period for Ulster, still down numbers, proved crucial against the Dragons last week. That's where the Dragons got their points and were able to hold on from there. Ulster won't want to concede any more points until they're back to the full squad number.
Well, any good side, as the Dragons showed last week, will score between 6 and 10 points when the opposition's down to 14 men. It's another good Treviso scrum, and they're really putting Ulster through the mincing machine there, and the referee is giving another penalty. And again, it's for not binding on the far side.
Well, it's a difficult one. Ulster are down to 7 men in the pack there, and you know, you feel maybe they should have put another one on. Whether that would have made a difference, we'll never know, but certainly it's given the penalty, and it must be right at the end of range here, kicking into the wind.
Well, if Chris Burton, who's pretty well wrapped up, he's got headgear on, he's got plenty of stuff to keep out the Ravenhill cold. And if he nails this one, Ulster will need a couple of converted tries to win this game and stop a slide after a pretty good start. Burton wastes no time. Has that got the legs? It hasn't, you know. Here comes Humphreys. And that's not a bad strike at all by Ian Humphreys, his best kick of the evening. So Ulster have a bit of a let-off, and Mike McComish and the sin-binned Declan Fitzpatrick due to come back on again. So Ulster will have their full complement, and will that galvanise them into a little bit of something or other, because it's been conspicuous by its absence so far this evening.
You can see Chris Henry and Paul Marshall walking around there, clapping, geeing the guys up. Ulster understand what's at stake in this game. The ability to halt that 2-game losing streak, go away for the break of 2 weeks for the World Cup semi and final, and come back with some sort of momentum in the season.
Declan Fitzpatrick on. It is a Treviso line-out. Long time since Nigel Brady played prop forward. Great ball by Treviso. Again, it's the open side flanker for Mack takes it. And that's that well-controlled, well-organised drive by the visitors. Referee's got the hand out for the penalty. Here's Botez. Gets it away to Tommaso Iannone. Great support from the skipper, Pavanello. The second row partner, Bernabeu, takes it on a little bit more. As the referee is still playing advantage for Mack with the tackle, the man who won the initial line-out. Botez, Burton looking for a drop at goal. Well charged down by Ulster, and he is going to bring them back for the penalty. Well, he does like to play a lot of advantage, doesn't he?
He certainly does, but if he was playing advantage, clearly there was none there for Treviso, and coming back now, it's still right at the edge of range, but you feel Treviso will still try for it. Excellent work, quick out of the blocks there from Ian Humphreys and Chris Henry, who ultimately was responsible for the charge down, and Treviso deciding it is just beyond range and looking to kick deep, probably look to get that driving maul going again.
Well, Craig Gilroy pointing to the corner as if to try to encourage the assistant on this side to adjudicate that the ball had gone into touch and go, but it didn't, and it's going to be a 5-metre line out for Treviso, and they're keeping all the pressure. They're playing a very sound tactical game.
Another excellent kick by Burton. They've been millimetre perfect for the majority of the game, and that's what set the platform.
For Mack takes it again. And will this experienced pack take it forward? The answer is absolutely. Ulster managed to slow it down and maybe even pull it down, but the referee is happy that it wasn't illegal. Looking for runners. Knocked forward, I think, by Francesco Minto. Humphreys. Again, contact's not wonderful, but he's put a lot of length on it. Natalia. Little ankle tackle by Paddy Jackson did just enough to slow him down, and Jackson had the man held, and Ludovico Natalia didn't release the ball. It wasn't much of a tackle, but it was enough to ensure that the ball should have been released initially. Holding on, according to the referee. Great work by Paddy Jackson. Natalia tried to sidestep the youngster. He got him, and he held him, albeit by the ankle. That was good enough-ish.
Certainly had contact when he made the tackle, and then the Treviso player got to his feet. Paddy Jackson did release him after that, but the referee had already made the ruling, and a welcome penalty for Ulster. Time for them to try and develop something now from this set piece. There hasn't been a stage in the game where you can say Ulster have retained possession and gone through the phases for a 5-minute period, and they'll certainly look to do that to try and get some purchase in this game.
Well, Ulster now, I think, are going to bring on Lewis Stevenson. Treviso have got 3 replacements lining up, more of those as and when they come on the field.
32, 27, 48.
Kiriakou doesn't look desperately straight. Marshall, Humphreys, Nevin Spence. Haven't seen much of either himself or Darren Cave in terms of ball in hand. Referee has given the penalty against Treviso, waiting for Ulster advantage as Tim Barker progresses up to the 10-metre line. Darcy went for a gap that was closed pretty quickly, and again the referee's playing a lengthy advantage, but Ulster really have gained nothing from it. So Humphreys, outrageous dummy, and they will come back for the penalty. And with the wind behind them, you wouldn't be surprised if Ian Humphreys has a go at the Treviso post.
You're definitely within range, and Ulster on this occasion benefiting from the long advantage played by the referee, looking for a little gap, the pass going to neither of the two players coming up in support and being brought back, and Ian Humphreys will certainly fancy this. And there's no need for Ulster to panic. Some excellent scrambling defence has kept them in this match. On balance, Treviso should have been a lot further ahead on the scoreboard. The reality is they're not. Ulster can find a way back into this game, and with 30 minutes still left, no need to panic.
Can we do after kick?
Treviso bringing on a couple of forward replacements and one in the back division. Ian Humphreys is straight in front of the Treviso posts, and he has put it just to the side of the Treviso post. So a penalty miss just before half time, a penalty miss 11 minutes into the second half, and the score remains at Ulster 0 and Treviso 10, and he hooked that, not by much.
And 13 or 14? 13 substitution. 8.
Number of substitutes being lined up now. Treviso not waiting until their players tire before they reinvigorate the team, bringing on some fresh substitutes to try and keep the momentum going their way in this match.
Time back on.
Fijian-born Italian international Manoa Vasawai, one of 3 replacements. Pretty formidable character, great with ball in hand. Well taken in by Ulster. And Paddy Jackson did it. Here's Marshall, Humphreys, Spence. Hasn't really made any progress when he's taken that inside ball. Here's Humphreys. Judged that nicely. It's going to be a Treviso line-out. Just under half an hour remaining, about 28 minutes. Wes Burton, who's been outstanding in this game, as he has been for most of the season, dropped a couple of beautiful goals against Cardiff, although his side went down. Replacement hooker Diego Vidal, born in Tucumán in Argentina, with his first throw into the lineout. Vasawai, look at all that power. Botez, that's hanging in the wind. Good take by Gilroy. Good sidestep by Gilroy. Great strength for the young man. Marshall, Humphreys, Paddy Jackson, nicely done. Flip forward in the pass by Darren Cave, and a Treviso scrummage.
Yeah, Ulster guilty of being a little bit speculative there. No need to panic. It's a 10-point margin, but they could well close that out. There's players of the calibre of Cave and the magic of Gilroy, Spence's directness. They've certainly got the players with the attributes to be able to break this defensive line. But they don't need to force the game at this stage. They need periods of continuity, of possession, and their kicks for territory have been very good thus far.
Tim Barker leaves the field. Lewis Stevenson who's been just edging him in terms of first choice selection in the second row, comes on. And look at Gilroy, really is a young man with a great appetite for the game. When he gets the ball in hand, he wants to do something. Well, on a cold night, they need something to cheer themselves up with. Strong scrum again by Treviso. Kosawai gets past the first tackle and across the halfway line. Well, Toby Botes enraged about something, and the referee has agreed with him, and he's given a penalty against Ulster. But the feeling, mine, even with quite a bit to go, it's not going to be Ulster's evening.
Certainly nothing's gone their way, and surprised Treviso even let that ball out of the scrum. Some excellent scrambling defence there, and you know, Ulster may feel aggrieved they didn't get a penalty on that occasion, but the referee finding fault again with Ulster at the breakdown, and just haven't been able to get anything going tonight.
Well, Treviso have brought back on the man who went off for a blood injury, Luca Morisi. And the man who's gone off is Ezio Gallo in the middle of the field. And the enormous Alberto Scarvi is on. This is the 29-year-old Diego Vidal. He's played in all 5 games so far this season. Farmack at the back. Good defensive work by Ulster, really thrust them back, and that's the first serious turnover of this game. Humphreys, he's got that away well. That's very good work by the Ulster forwards, and 10 out of 10 for that effort.
Yeah, I think it was Chris Henry maybe who managed to work his way around the opposite side of the line out and get his hands on the ball, just as Treviso looked to have set up an opportunity to get some attack into that play. It's a very clever work at the line out to turn over possession.
Well, Treviso in possession and in the right part of the field as well, just inside the Ulster 10-metre line. Vidal, Barnabo, Kosawai tidies it up. Treviso churning forward all the time, inexorably toward that Ulster 22. And as long as they're mobile, the referee will let them do that. And when it stops, he will instruct that they'll have to play. And again, Ulster have turned it over, but this time it's been illegal. And it wasn't the turnover, it was the pulling down. And it might just be Andy Kiriakou who's got himself penalised. He got a shove in the back for his pains, and there was no need for that. Now, the referee is he entitled to reverse the penalty for that? I think he is, but I don't know whether he will or not.
Yeah, there's a strong chance he will, and it'll be a huge relief for Ulster if he does do that.
Hey, come here. You speak English, you know what it means. You must not touch the opponent in play.
There's no need for the Treviso replacement to do that.
That's fine.
Is Senor Penny going to reverse the decision? No, he's not.
Well, an additional 3 points certainly makes it a harder equation for Ulster, and you wouldn't back Burton out from this range. He's kicked superlatively out of the hand all evening, and bar the one kick from the ground, which was clearly outside his range, he'll certainly feel confident standing over this ball.
Ulster warming up, tight head prop Adam Macklin. Looks very straightforward from there. And that's a good kick by Chris Burton. And it's looking like a more and more difficult evening for this Ulster side, who started the season in such great style. Last time we were here at Ravenhill, they romped home against Cardiff, but they have been under serious pressure, mainly in the set scrummages from a well-organised Treviso side, and Ulster's error count has once again been probably too high. Mike McCormick might just have been in front of that, but away they go. Great tackle by Nevin Spence on Toby Botes. Nobody at scrum half for Treviso. Skipper himself may well have to double up, but he's left it to Minto. On the right wing, Tommaso Iannone is in there as well. Good tackle by Chris Henry. In fact, it was Febby Vandenberg who made the hit. Been a patient and well-constructed display by Treviso, orchestrated by that man Burton. What a great kick that was. Here's Gilroy. McCormick's looping round outside him. Well, he's got the full range of skills, Craig Gilroy, and I'm prepared to bet you a handful of golden guineas, as you used to say in old money, Ryan, that 4 years' time when the World Cup comes to the UK, Craig Gilroy will be in the Irish squad.
I certainly wouldn't oppose you on that bet. Crucial now for Ulster that they continue to pressure this line out from Treviso. A couple have gone awry, and they'll look to try and turn over possession here. Crucial now that they get some points on the board and get a purchase in this game. Nothing has gone their way tonight. They haven't been able to get anything going in attack, and they've just defended for large portions of the game.
Good disruption at the Treviso line-out as we saw Adam Macklin coming on there to play tight head prop for Ulster. Jerry Cronin has left the field. Vassawai into Vandenberg, who takes him a bit on the high side. Botez, good pressure now from the Ulster pack, and here's Gilroy. Gets the body in the right position. Marshall, now Humphreys. Darcy, Paddy Jackson outside him, awful, and away goes Burton. I don't think he's going to get caught. His opposite number, Humphreys, is chasing. He needed to dive, and Burton may well have rounded off a momentous evening for Treviso. We're right at the end of the third quarter, and Chris Burton has been the star of the show.
Yeah, symptomatic of Ulster's night. Things just not going according to plan, and comes off the side of the boot, and the reactions of Burton, who has been the most influential player on this pitch and just had enough in the legs to go the distance and get across the line. And Treviso will certainly feel as though that's the game wrapped up from here.
Well, there's nothing Ian Humphreys could do, and he's not the slowest player in the world, and Chris Burton may not be the fastest, but the gap never really closed, and Burton has had an excellent evening. A week ago when Treviso turned over the Scarlets in Italy, it was Brendan Williams who was the man of the match, and Burton can't have been too far behind, so Chris Henry has got to keep those Ulster heads up. He needs to get them round in a circle and have a little word with them. 18-0 down. Into the last 20 minutes of this game, and here's Burton to convert his own try, and he's done just that. Well, we were saying that Ulster needed a couple of converted tries to take the lead after that last penalty went over. Now they need 3 converted tries to take the lead.
And you look at it at the 60-minute mark, Treviso's performance really has been outstanding. Their set piece has been dominant. They've controlled the contact area. Tactically, they've got it dead right, and the execution through Burton has been first rate.
What a take by Gilroy. Spence, McComish. Good little offload. Here's the massive Macklin. Marshall. Can Ulster respond? They're going to try, you know. Vandenberg, Humphreys. Seemed to be a little bit of obstruction there, but the referee says no, and the ball went forward. Was there an Ulster player held just before he could take the ball?
Yeah, the question is, did the player, he obviously can't tackle a player without the ball. He is entitled to stand his ground, and it'll be interesting to see from the replay which one of those has occurred.
Well, Marshall whipped it away very quickly. Nice little soft pass, lovely little wraparound. Now Ulster complaining that there was a little bit of obstruction.
Yeah, and Darren Cave may well have a case. The arm was put around him. I think the referees adjudicated that was pass was forward. Excellent take by Gilroy. They're really trying to spark Ulster into action.
Well, is it all too late for Ulster? There was a certain little bit of urgency there. But this would be, if the scoreline stays this way, a remarkable win for Treviso. Their second win ever away from home in this competition. And this time the penalty goes against the Treviso front row. Ulster have got to think quickly. They've got to get into touch quickly. Humphreys does just that, albeit scuffily. Ulster just have to pick up the pace, Ryan.
Yeah, it's the execution that's let Ulster down. They've spent so much time defending. when they have got the opportunity with ball in hand, something's just gone wrong, either the timing or the pass, the handling of the ball. They just need a good clinical execution, a good set of 5 minutes with ball in hand.
Well, there's the straightforward ball run at the front of the line out, courtesy of Dan Toohey yet again. Ulster trying to churn forward, but Treviso were well organised. Mike McCormick has the ball there. Marshall just indicating he wants a runner on the narrow side. Paddy Jackson obliges, but it's not quick ball and it's not a clean ball. Marshall managed to get it away. Humphreys, Spence queuing up for him. That was Morisi took him down. Marshall again. This is better. Here's Humphreys. Darcy does well. Pick up by Chris Henry, the captain. Great pressure now by Ulster. Quicker ball. Cave. Options on both sides. Marshall, soft little offload. Vandenberg gets across the line. Referees going upstairs. But Pedri Vandenberg and all of Ravenhill reckon that the big South African has got Ulster's first try. Is there a glimmer of light at the end of what looked like a long tunnel?
Some excellent work here by Darren Cave initially. Some good ball security, recycled the ball. And Paul Marshall winds up as if it's a long pass, draws the in defender and gives a gentle little pop ball to Pedri Vandenberg, who gets over quite easily.
That is a try. Marshall Kilgore tells the referee he can award the try. Ravenhill crowd were, needless to say, in no doubt whatsoever. But it was a lovely little soft delay on that pass by Marshall, and Vandenberg hurtled through. Good touchdown by the Springbok.
Yeah, good communication between the two players there. Obviously aware of what was going on, and it was that soft pass coupled with the fact that Vandenberg was coming around the corner from depth, unsighted by the defenders, who didn't step in and react, and he carried two players over the line and has given Ulster some hope in what looked like a forlorn 15 minutes about to follow.
Well, Vandenberg took that try extremely well. His third league try. A couple of replacements for Treviso, and they're bringing on replacements in the tight forwards. Matthew Muchinyat has come on. Restart by the man who's done most of the damage to Ulster. Ball taken in by Chris Henry, Ulster's captain.
Middle side.
Marshall giving that plenty of height as Williams comes back, and he's left to take it. Just to jink his way through. Good covering by Ulster. Back to Humphreys. Loads of space on this side. And what a good tactical kick that is by Humphreys. Well, Humphreys down, or Ulster down, but not yet out.
Yeah, and very pragmatic is what Ulster need to do. Quite often you look to attack from positions you shouldn't be when you're down by this amount of points. There's still 15 on the clock. Ulster still need to execute. The right option is still the right option, whether it's the first minute or the 65th minute. And Ulster now in good position to put some pressure on Treviso.
Treviso taking a couple of men out of the line out. Fossawai is in the scrum half position. Once again, it's Vermaak who's been a great auxiliary jumper for the visitors, and Ulster shunting them backwards. There's a wee bit more urgency and a bit more devil about this Ulster pack. Nigel Brady has come on for Ulster, and Ulster get to put into the scrum. Well, the crowd are getting behind this Ulster side, and young Adam Macklin, who impressed last week when he came on against the Dragons, has put in a lot of work this evening.
You can see the four players there working in unison, driving Treviso back, and an excellent result for Ulster. All of a sudden, it's taken the best part of 65 minutes to give the crowd something to cheer about, and they're responding to this increased urgency from the Ulster team and getting behind them.
It all started with a good set piece in quickly. That's a lot better by Ulster at the scrum. Humphreys, Spence has a go himself. Great handoff, Spence just taken down. Great head of steam for Ulster. Marshall. Gilroy nudged it forward. Well, that was a great chance for Ulster. But what was encouraging, Ron, was the Ulster scrum.
You know, the higher the level you go up in rugby, the more emphasis there is on the set piece, and it creates that stable platform for the likes of Nevin Spence to do that. When they're doing it on the front foot, moving forward, it makes it much easier.
Another Treviso replacement, I think, is waiting to come on. Willem de Waal. And off goes Morisi, who's been on and off. And on and off, or is he going off? Yes, he is. Morisi went off for a blood replacement. He was off for quite a long time and then came back on again. And Ulster put any serious pressure on this Treviso scrum with 13 minutes remaining. Ulster needing 14 points to win this game. That's not a bad scrum. What's the referee going to do? Nothing at the moment. De Waal gets it away, and it's going to be an Ulster lineout. There is time, Ron.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's time. It's going to take a miraculous recovery from Ulster to get the points here. One mustn't forget as well, bonus points always count towards the tail end of the season, and Ulster need to do everything they can to ensure they get something out of this game.
I can see Robbie Diak coming on.
Close to you, call him.
Might be Mike McComish who's going off. We'll have to wait and see. It is Mike McComish who's going off. Chris Henry just saying to him, you stand at outside centre, we'll try and get the ball to you. But it's the men up front. Good to get a first start for your province out of the way. Well done to Mike McComish. Nigel Brady, fast approaching 100 starts. Tui, magnificent take. And he's still going. Henry, the captain, probably will have to set it up. He needs some support. Good tackle by his opposite skipper, Pavanello. Humphreys. Cave. Treviso might just have sealed that one off. Here's Marshall. Has a go himself. Needed scrum half, so they just decide to pick up and drive, and they pick up and drive successfully. Here comes Vandenberg. Well, that must be a penalty. Well, decision time now for Chris Henry. About 11 minutes remaining. Take the 3 points or go for the try. Corner, I think, is on Ulster's mind.
Yeah, I think they need more than 3 points at this stage. They're starting to get a little bit of ascendancy in the game. They're starting to get some reward up front for their endeavours and look for an accurate line-out throw and then a driving maul from here as the clock counts down.
About 11 minutes remaining. And 13 points between them. Tui with the tap, still there for Ulster, the stretch, and maybe another try for Vandenberg. The big fella has done it again. He got a couple of tries in a European game against Leoni last year, and he's got a couple of tries in a league game against another Italian side at Ravenhill, and this will put the proverbial cat among the pigeons. It wasn't the greatest throw in the world for once. Tui couldn't gather, but Vandenberg did.
Yeah, excellent tap down by Dan Tui into the arms of Vandenberg. I'm sure that's what he'll be telling him after the final whistle. And just the tonic Ulster needed. All of a sudden, the decision to kick for touch has been vindicated. Important kick coming up now to put Ulster within striking distance for what looked like an improbable victory at the 60-minute mark.
Wrong side of the field for Ian Humphreys, but will it be the right result? No, it won't. No, it won't. So 8 points between them, and Ulster still outside losing bonus point range. And Treviso will not be in any great rush to get this game underway. Well, it has been a remarkable little turnaround for Ulster, a mini turnaround if you like. 9 minutes and a wee bit remaining. Burton. Taken in by Tui.
Taking in. Out.
Good drive by Ulster, encouraging Treviso maybe to pull it down and concede the penalty. As long as they keep motoring, the referee's happy to let them continue. But when they stop, he'll say flare. Macklin, nicely released. Marshall. Knocked forward by the Italians. Botes wants the ball in his hands. They're just playing keep ball now, Treviso. 8 minutes remaining and they're leading by 8 points. Another glance by Botes. Burton to kick, I'm sure. Well covered by Gilroy. He is given that one almighty thump. What a belting kick by Craig Gilroy. Wonderful range of skills by the 20-year-old.
They're showing excellent maturity on that occasion. Chose the right option and then executed it to perfection. And Ulster really applying the screws now.
And again, Treviso just taking their time. Replacement hooker Diego Vidal with the ball. Plenty of big men in this Treviso lineup. The orthodox ball to number 2 in the lineup doesn't give you too many options in terms of back play, but it secures the ball for you, and that's what Pavanello has done for his side. Botes encouraging the replacement Gonzalo Padro to get out of the way. Well, I thought Gilroy was impeded there when he was going up for the ball, but back goes Marshall. Padro's coming back, Marshall's down. Padro swarms all over him. Marshall trying to lay the ball back, and he's done that. But lots of green and white jerseys in there. Ulster have secured it, but they're in completely the wrong part of the field. And Treviso, I think, have just nicked that one. Yes, they have. Well, a drop goal by Burton, and he's just squaring up for that. Would just seal this game for Treviso. And he's done that many times before, and they're just trying to get themselves into the field position to deliver the pass to their talented outside half.
Yeah, they'll just keep going around the corner, get a central position, and Burton will look for that sealer for them.
Well, this is just about perfect for them. Botes saying, I want another runner just to set it up underneath the post to help the time tick away. Only 6 minutes remaining. Surely this time, no. Bossawai takes it on a little bit. There's an Ulster hand in the way. Well, they are determined to drive as close to the Ulster post as they possibly can. Maybe looking to score a try. Well, this is high pressure stuff from Treviso, and again they pick and again they drive, and they're very close. And are they across the Ulster line? They're not quite. Well, what a finish. Ulster had a great spell there. Treviso trying hard just to copper fasten a fantastic victory for them. And the referee has given a scrum to Treviso.
Excellent defence around the fringes there. Treviso, initially it looked as though they were going to set up for a drop goal with Burton in the pocket, and then they got the scent in the nostrils and tried to just go around the corner in 2s and 3s, and what it has done is allowed that clock to tick towards 5 minutes left in this game.
5 minutes.
Ulster now have to score a converted try and something else to win this game, and they're not in the right part of the field. And the clock has stopped. Chris Henry's giving his side, well, some serious encouragement. Just a pity that little purple patch by Ulster hadn't come a lot earlier in the game. This might have been a different outcome. It'd be hugely disappointing if Brian McLaughlin's side, having won their opening 3 games, lose the second 3 games, and then of course after the break for the World Cup, everybody will be back at more or less full strength.
When you look at these Italian teams, and Treviso probably the stronger of the two. The depth they're now developing in their squad. Another year on, they've got more Italian internationals back, more experience at this level, and they really are a growing force, and certainly welcome to maintain the vibrancy and try and dilute some of that dominance that the Irish regions have enjoyed in recent times.
Well, the key selection for me was the choice of the Italian World Cup huge tight head prop Lorenzo Cittadini. Referees just moved them to the near side of the Ulster post. Rwanda stood up well to an awful battering it's taken. Clock is on again. Into the last 4 minutes. Good solid strike and good control at the back. Front rows go down, and the referee says that was accidental and they have to do it again. But this is ticking down this clock, and Treviso now are in a position where they're not only going to win this game here in Ravenhill, but they're going to deny Ulster even a losing bonus point.
Treviso are in the part of the pitch they want to be at this late stages in the game. The damage was done much earlier. They're hanging on now, but certainly they're trying to get that last little bit and squeeze every bit out of the dominance they've enjoyed in that scrum.
Macklin doing a good job on the Ulster tight head side. He's got that back nice and flat. Here comes Vasavai, very strong, taken by Nevin Spence right underneath the Ulster post, and that's where the Arbotez is complaining, and the penalty's been conceded, and Burton, I'm pretty sure, will simply pop that between the posts and put this game well beyond the reach of a very disappointed, and you have to say, apart from that little patch, disappointing Ulster side. It wasn't a bad Ulster scrum. Vasavai got well, ran into Nevin Spence. Chris Henry was there too. And we're Ulster players off their feet. The referee's having a good look, and he's hasn't hesitated in giving the penalty against Ulster. Well, they're smiling, but I'm sure they're not all that desperately happy. Let's hope from an Irish perspective they're smiling at about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning our time. Here's Burton, not going to miss it from there, and he hasn't. Right between the posts, so it's now Ulster 12 and Treviso 23. And this is the first time that Ulster have lost to an Italian side at Ravenhill. There's the old clock at the War Memorial end saying it's 10 minutes to 9 on a chilly evening. Humphreys with the restart. Botez, who's been excellent, nearly got away. Vasavai, who's been a powerhouse since he came on. Good replacement choices there. Little offload. Vandenberg just nudged it forward. The double try score for Ulster. Referees playing advantage, and Vandenberg tackled his fellow South African for Mack. No great rush for Treviso to play this one. Replacement prop. Mochinat takes it on. Vidala's replacement hooker pops it up. This is going to be, I'm pretty sure, up the jumper stuff from Benetton Treviso. Frustrating for the opposition, frustrating for the fans, but it's been a frustrating night all round for everybody involved with Ulster Rugby.
Get inside, go there, go there. Get inside.
Off to a flyer, then down to earth with a crash. Into the last minute of this game. No point in players getting involved. Chris Henry thought twice about it and sensibly decided just to keep his hands to himself. Vasavai gets away, tackled by Pedri Vandenberg. But it really all started in the set piece in the first half, and Ulster's scrum took such a roasting that allied to a number of fundamental handling errors didn't help Ulster's cause. And the next game Ulster involved in is on the last Saturday of this month, away to Parky Scarlets. Now, if this comes back on the Treviso side, all they have to do is pop it into touch, and I'm sure that's going to be the case. Fermac takes it on yet again. Ulster stuck on the Treviso 10-metre line.
And these last few minutes are an excellent demonstration of what Treviso have done well all game, and that's tactically astute. They're not giving the ball away. They're very happy. You can see by their reaction what this win means.
Well, it certainly means a lot for Treviso, and it says a lot for Italian rugby. They came here minus, well, 8 of their, in terms of their starting lineup, 9 of their World Cup players. Ulster minus 9 of theirs. No major injury worries for Ulster, apart from Paddy McAllister. But Treviso had a lot more about them. Their scrummage was quite outstanding, and in Chris Burton they very much had the man who was dictating the pace of this game. 10-0 up at the interval, they come back, and with Burton kicking a penalty and converting his own intercept try, they raced away to a 20 points to 13 lead.